Are we live?
Live on Facebook.
Yay. Well done, EVE.
Woo! Let's see.
Okay, just a minute. Hold on, guys. It's coming.
I can see Leonie's face on the Facebook.
Oh, really? Oh, good. Take a picture.
All right, you like girl. Right, I can't see Jack right now.
Is it going to show all of us at once?
I think it's just showing bit by bit.
Oh, like as we speak.
Hey. Okay, I can see you lot. Now, how do I bring you lot in? Okay, I can see Alicia holding something. Leonie, can you say something? Can you hear?
Hi, guys.
Can you all hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you, Eve.
Can you hear each other?
Yeah, I can hear everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Right. Now, the only thing is when you're talking, I'm not sure how, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not absolutely sure how to bring you in, but I'll try my best. I'm looking at myself talking. I can see that my response is a bit delayed. Yeah. So I'm talking after. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit delayed and I'm not hearing myself on there. So I don't know. But you can hear me, yeah?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I've muted. I need to turn the mute. Okay. Yeah, so I'm talking after, yeah. Yeah, I can hear myself now.
Yeah, you're definitely, yeah.
Sounds like it's echoing.
Yeah, let me turn off my volume.
Yeah, and make sure the mute button is not on as well. It's a little bit delayed and I'm not hearing myself on there. So I don't know. But you can hear me, yeah?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I've muted. I need to turn the mute. Okay. Yeah, so I'm talking after, yeah. Yeah, I can hear myself now.
Yeah, you're definitely, yeah.
Sounds like it's echoing.
Yeah. Mine's not echoing, but
Yeah, and make sure the mute button is not on as well. It's a little bit delayed and I'm not hearing myself on there.
Oh, I just got that echo.
You can hear me, yeah?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I've muted. I need to turn the mute. Yeah. So,
Wait, is somebody watching it
yeah. Yeah, can you
allowed on a different device?
yeah. I've got my volume all the way down on the phone. Mine's but I might just close it altogether.
Yeah, I think you might have to.
Yeah, I've taken it all off altogether.
I'm not hearing myself on there.
Oh, I just got that echo.
It sounds like a recording.
Yeah, I think it's playing it back.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like.
Welcome, welcome.
Wait, is somebody watching it?
Remember, as you come on, click like and share, please. Like and share.
I've got my
as you
volume
come
all
on.
the way down on the phone.
We're just
But I
about
might
to
just
start.
close it altogether.
Yeah, I think you might have to.
Yeah, I've taken it all off altogether.
Joanna, can you hear yourself again?
Yeah, I can hear myself even
Yeah,
though I'm
I
not
heard
talking.
Okay.
Can you
But
all
I'll
hear?
I can hear you, Eve.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
echoes or anything?
Say something, Eve. Oh no.
Any
I don't think
echoing?
he's speaking to us.
Can't really hear you there, Eve.
Is that better?
Joanna, can you hear yourself again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you.
Okay.
Can you
But
all
I'll
hear?
I can hear you, Eve.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
echoes or anything?
Say something, Eve. Oh.
Oh no.
To us.
Can't really hear you there, Eve.
No?
Yes, I heard you just then, but not before.
Okay.
Better.
This is working.
There is a delay.
Joanna, can you hear yourself again?
Yeah.
There is a delay.
Okay.
Can you all hear?
I can hear you, Eve.
Yeah.
Say something.
Oh no.
Nice.
No?
Yes, I heard you just then, but not before.
Okay.
Better.
This is working.
There's a delay.
Can you hear yourself?
Yeah.
There is a delay.
Is this also on Instagram Live as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should be.
No?
Yes, I heard you just then, but not before.
Okay, are we ready to start?
This is working.
There's a delay.
There's like a repeat, isn't there? That keeps
Yeah, it's
happening.
repeating it. So
I don't know whether it's better to go onto Instagram Live Eve and then just add us all in the video from there, because it's
Is this
flashing.
on Instagram Live as well?
yeah.
Okay.
Should be.
Yes, I heard you just then, but not before.
Okay, are we ready to start?
This is working.
There's a delay.
There's like a repeat, isn't there? That keeps
Yeah, it's
happening.
repeating it. So
I don't know whether it's better to go onto Instagram Live Eve and then just add us all in the video from there.
It's giving me, Insta
Because
is giving me a
it's,
problem. I'm having a problem on
it's
Instagram.
It's on Instagram.
Okay.
yeah.
Should be.
Okay, are we ready to start?
There's like a repeat, isn't there? That
Yeah,
keeps
it's
happening.
repeating it. So
I don't know whether it's better to go onto Instagram Live Eve and then just add us all in the video from there.
It's giving me, Insta is giving me a problem. I'm having a problem on Instagram.
yeah.
Should be.
Start.
Better to go into Instagram Live Eve and then just add us all in the video from there.
It's giving me, Insta is giving me a problem. I'm having a problem. Okay. Hi guys, there's a slight delay. Okay, the connection. There's a slight delay with the connection. I'm just trying to take another couple of minutes to sort this. Can everybody, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Chanel, Farah,
Yeah, I can hear you.
everybody can hear me.
Hi
Yeah?
guys. Yeah. I can hear you.
Okay. Connection. Just what we're gonna do, when I talk, everybody's actually hearing me in real time. So we're gonna carry on with the connection. Okay, we're gonna with the discussion the minutes. Don't follow the video because there's a delay in the video. The live Facebook.
Yes, I can hear you.
Eve, we can't hear you because it sounds like it's recording.
All right.
And whilst
I
you're
can hear you.
playing,
Everybody can hear me.
Hi guys. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Connection. Just what we're gonna do, when I talk, everybody's actually hearing me in real time. So we're gonna carry on with the connection. We're gonna the video because there's a delay in the video. The live Facebook.
I can hear you.
Eve, we can't hear you because it sounds like it's recording.
All right.
And whilst you're playing,
Everybody can hear me.
Hi guys. Yeah, I can hear you.
Just what we're gonna do, when I talk, everybody's actually hearing me in real time. So we're gonna with the connection. Oh, there's a feedback actually.
We can't hear you because it sounds like it's recording. Then
going to do, when I talk, everybody's actually hearing me in real time.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a feedback. No, because there's a feedback as well. So I'm not sure what to do. What should I should we just continue talking?
Oh, there's a feedback.
Program is not connecting YouTube. Because there's a feedback as well. There's not the option. There's no option. There's no option. So what do I do? Oh God. What should I should we just continue talking?
Oh, there's a feedback.
There's not the option. No. There's no option. Hey guys, we're going to go off live for a bit and we're going to come back on later because we're having a bit of a difficulty. We're getting a lot of feedback and so on. So we're just going to come off live and come back on. Sorry for the delay. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. I know you're watching. Keep tuned in. Just give us a few minutes to sort this out. Blessings. Yeah. Gosh. This is what I was trying to. All right. So how do I do that one with Insta? If he tells me what to do, then yeah. Yeah, please. Guys, sorry about this.
Don't worry, Eve. It's not
Sorry,
your
so sorry.
Eve,
Hey.
I've just asked Leon how to do the Instagram live thing. So if you're on your Instagram page and you click on your profile and then, oh God, I've just forgotten how you just showed me how to do it now. Okay, so if I, can you see it on the screen here? Well, it's not really great. Okay, so this button here, can you see that it's got a little cross in the middle?
Yeah, yeah.
Plus sign.
The plus sign. Oh crap, no, that's the wrong one. Hold on a second. DeLeon, sorry, show me again, I've forgotten. I'm no good at this myself. Oh, never mind, don't worry. So it's the little camera in the corner. Hold on.
So plus
there. The little camera.
So go to the plus sign?
No. So if you go to the camera,
go with the plus sign.
Yeah, camera, yeah.
Click the camera and down below, if you scroll across at the bottom, it says live.
Yeah.
So if you, I don't want
go again.
Okay. So the camera
Mm-hmm.
on the main page, you click
Yeah.
that. And at the bottom here, there are some options. It has normal. It says if you're going to take a picture. If you scroll across to your, I don't know, your right,
Yeah.
it should say live. Can you see that live?
No, I'm seeing hands-free, super something. Live, yeah?
Scroll the other way, sorry.
Yeah, live.
Live, and if you click that, that's how you connect to your Instagram live.
Do I need to click this one? The big button in the middle to go live?
Yeah,
to record?
yeah.
Okay, and tell me how to add your lot in now, yeah? So I'm live.
Oh God, I got that far. Hold on a second. Let me just see. I'm going to try to do it and see. I'm just going to test it and see how I do it. So it says now I'm live, and you can add people. And then it says go live with.
Jojo.
Yeah. Does it give you options to
Give me all your thingy. So Jojo, I can see you. Leonie, I can see you. Lee?
Sorry. Oh God, I've been talking all this time. I was saying that it's only going to let you go live with one person unless there's a way for you to connect it the same way that you've connected Facebook. So now you're live with Joanna.
So do you
allow you to add someone else?
How do we go? If I go over to the page, then it should be all right.
Oh yeah, you should be able to.
Chanel, where's Dillian? How do I go over to
add somebody else?
Facebook.
Oh, I don't know if he knows how to do that one. He's only done it on Instagram Live, I think. So maybe if we just try to reconnect with the Facebook one and see if that works. Again, now that you've disconnected it, because maybe the Instagram Live won't work in the way that we want it to with so many people. Because I've never done it before. I would have tested it.
Can I connect live on my Facebook with Jojo, and then from there I can go over to. Guys, sorry, we're having some technical glitches. Sorry about that. We're just trying to rectify it.
When you were on Facebook, could you see us all?
Yeah.
No,
one by one. You come in at different times.
Oh, so whenever we speak, that's when you would get. Oh, right, okay. So should we try it that we mute everyone and only when you speak you unmute then?
Okay.
Maybe that would stop
the feedback.
All right. Yeah.
So let's try Facebook again.
Yeah.
I think we've still been on Facebook this whole time.
No, not on Facebook, on Zoom. I think we're still on.
No, it still says live.
It still says live on Facebook. So maybe
I think people can see us because they're messaging me to say that they can hear us and it's fine.
Okay, then can we crack on then?
And let's see.
Yeah, they're saying it's okay. They can hear.
Let's crack on.
Can we crack on?
Because the funny thing is, we've been speaking and it's been okay.
Okay, let's go on, guys. I'm so sorry for this technical glitch. We came on like half hour early to sort it out, but let's get on with it. Let me say to you all, welcome, welcome, welcome. And the panelists, thank you so much for joining us. This is our first Say It Loud talk show. My name is Eve, the host. And it's very good to have you on, joining with us tonight. As you come in, remember, click like and share, let others know that we are here and we're about to start. Now, if you can hear us, okay, send a thumbs up, click like, let us know that, if you're having any problems hearing us, let us know as well, okay? All right, so welcome to our first show. Right?
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. I'm just going to go ahead and introduce or ask the panelists to introduce themselves. And we're going to start with Joanna.
Hi everyone, I'm Joanna. I'm a TA, I work at school and I'm friends with Eve.
Alicia?
I'm Dr. Alicia Anderson, and I'm a counseling psychologist currently working in private practice.
Lee?
Hi, I'm Leonie and I work in IT, so a male-dominated industry, doing service change and release, and yeah, I'm a mum of one.
And Chanel?
Hi everyone, I'm Chanel. I am an executive support officer, but currently on maternity leave as I've just entered this wonderful journey called parenthood and motherhood. So I have a 7-month-old who is currently my boss, so I'm working at home.
And like I said before, I'm Eve and welcome. Tonight our topic is the diary of a mom, and we're going to be looking at some of the joys.
Hi,
Farah.
Oh, Farah, have I forgotten Farah? Where is
we have Farah in the corner over here.
Hi Farah, you're gone off screen.
Really?
Brief introduction, Farah. I'm not going to leave this down, guys.
Well, this is Farah. Mum of one. I too work in a school. I'm an administrator. Yeah, that's it. Hi.
Thank you. Thank you, and please forgive me. Right, so our topic tonight is the diary of a mom, and tonight we're going to be looking at the joys and some of the challenges of young mothers. We have some real life moms tonight, young ladies. Some of them I've seen matured from teenager to big married women now. And it's very proud to see, it's very proud. Some I've met along the way, some I've worked with. And it's been a pleasure, it's been a joy. When I approached them, they were very happy to come on the program to share, okay? And, you know, they will give us some insight as to some of the difficult challenges that they've had to deal with, as well as some of the joyous moments so far they've experienced on their journey into motherhood. Right, so stay tuned in. Please like, share, make a comment, let us know what you think. If you have any questions, you can post it, we can address it if we have time. All right, ladies, before I, let me say congratulations to you all in being mothers. We tend to hear a lot of the happy side of and positive things, comments about motherhood, but we rarely hear the flip side of it. Now, prior to being a mother, many of us as teenagers, as young girls, we dream, we have these ideals in our heads. You know, we want to, what age we want to start having children, what we want the children to look like. We start dividing by ratio, how many boys versus how many girls we want to have, the color of their eyes, if we're allowed, the color of their skin, and so on and so forth. Ladies, can you tell us, did this happen to you? What sort of mental picture did you have in your head about motherhood? What did you envision for yourself at this stage? We'll start with Joanna.
I'm going to be honest and say that I don't really think I had a mental picture in my head. I knew I always wanted to be a mum, but it's not something at the time when it did happen or when I met my husband, I didn't think, oh yes, this is the time, this is when I planned it to happen. It just kind of happened. So, but I think I've always had like motherly instincts. I mean, anyone who knows me knows that I'm quite a nurturer, I'm quite a motherer. I like to take care of people. So I think that instinct always was naturally there.
Yeah.
So that's my take on that bit.
Yeah. Anybody else want to share? Did you have this kind of, I did, but did you have any kind of mental picture of ideals of what you wanted?
I think I would say I definitely wanted to wait a year after I got married. That did not happen. It happened in like 28 days. And I also had good experience with my nieces and nephews. So I thought, oh, I've got this down. No problem. This is going to be, you know, just like a walk in the park. Absolutely hasn't been. So yeah, I think my ideal was I know from other people's experience what I am and I'm not going to do. And I've done all the things that I've said I'm not going to do.
So it hasn't gone according to plan?
No.
Anybody?
No.
There is no plan.
There is no plan.
Okay, right. So you eventually became adults, and you went through your various experiences in becoming adults, and fast forward, you are now mothers. Prior to becoming pregnant, did you and your partner, did you guys sit down and discuss this, or did it just happen? Because a lot of times we hear from young people or young ladies, or it just happened. Did it just happen for you, or was it something you intentionally sat down and talked about? Joanna?
Me and my husband, we did sit down and talk about kids. We talked about how many kids we wanted. But we always said we would just go by our situation. So if we felt like we were in a situation where we could have another child or afford a child because they cost money, if we were ready to have it, then we did. So yeah, I think that's something we absolutely did discuss. We both knew we wanted to have children, so there was no surprise, oh, suddenly he doesn't want one or I don't want one. We both knew we wanted children, and that we definitely agreed on. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Farah? I can't see Farah for some reason, but Farah?
I don't know. I'm here.
I can see
Yeah, I can see Farah.
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell us?
Growing up as a teenager, anyway, that's as far back as I can remember. I didn't have like a picture of what I thought my children would look like. I did in my head have this notion that I was gonna have a football team of boys. I might accept the one girl, but I wanted just pure boys, because my idea was that I wanted to raise the men that I would want to see in this world. I wanted to gift the world with decent men.
Yeah.
That was the only thought that I had. But obviously, God had other plans, so I ended up getting the one girl out of the football team of boys that I wanted.
Alicia, Dr. Alicia.
Right. For me, personally, yes. I don't deal well with uncertainty, so I had to sit down and plan everything to the detail. But what I was surprised about is how quickly it happened. So after we said, yes, let's try, I thought it was going to take a really long time, but it happened really quickly. So in that sense, it was a surprise. But yes, planned everything down to the very, what color bedspread, what I'm going to get him, what we're going to do. And I think similar to Farah, I was planning for girls. But I got a lovely boy. So again, obviously, God has his plans. And although we can have our ideals and our sort of fantasies, what ultimately comes with, is what God planned for us. And we just have to go on and do what his plans are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Guys, how do you think it's important for young ladies and guys who have settled down? Do you think it's important to have this discussion prior to having children?
100%.
Yeah.
Planning is necessary.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it prepares you. I think there's so much uncertainty being a parent in general. So I feel like the things that you can be sure on and certain on, you should absolutely plan. Like you can't just whip it out the start. Yeah, I'm going to be a parent. Like, what kind of parent do you want to be? How do you want to educate your child? What kind of person do you want to see your child grow into being? And will you support their decisions? And is it you trying to have your children living through your own dreams and aspirations? Or are you going to encourage them to have their own lane and their own way of living? So it's a lot. And instilling Christian values. There's so much things going on right now that are teaching your children. How are you going to teach them? So yeah, absolutely.
It's also important because you may have two people who come from two very different cultures.
Yeah.
Also a cultural thing as well. Two people who are brought up very differently, who may come from two very different backgrounds. So I think it's really important, as Joanna said, to sit down and have these conversations, because there is no real guide to being a parent. I don't think there's no one book that tells you. And as you said, Joanna, the things that you can prepare for them, having the conversations. And you may actually realize that you could be with someone and they may not actually want to have children, and only realize at a very late point, or realize when it's too late that actually we have two very different views on becoming parents. So it's definitely really important to have those open conversations, because parenthood is definitely a journey that no one can actually prepare for, but talking about it before definitely helps.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Anybody has any more comments about planning, or we good?
No, you go.
Okay. I was gonna say that one of the main things that I found being on the other side of thinking that, oh, like we've really spoken about it, because we know that we want 4 children, and we know the type of area we want to live in, and you know the type of school we want them to go to, you know, the amount of money that we want to have to be able to fund having 4 children. But I think for us, having got pregnant really quickly after the wedding, we quickly realized, oh my gosh, we have actually had the conversation, if that makes sense.
Very quick, by the way.
Yeah, very. I mean, you know, just so quick. So yeah, in my personal opinion, I thought we had exhausted the idea of the type of parents we wanted to be. You know, having had the conversations and feeling like, you know, we can do this. Like, we're ready for it. On the other side, quickly realizing actually there's a lot more to talk about, and it changes as you go. So I don't think you can absolutely exhaust it before you get into it as well.
Alicia, you were going to say something.
Right, no, I was just going to reiterate and sort of emphasize what Chanel had said about making sure your partner is also ready, especially emotionally ready for what is to come. And I think a lot of people can end up with, especially partners who are not there, and then they're not able to support you and the child when you're at your most vulnerable.
Yeah, very important. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
I agree with you there, Alicia.
Yeah. Right. So, Joanna, this is kind of personal to you, and I did send out and request permission to go there.
Yeah.
You actually went into a relationship with your, you know, prior husband, knowing that he had a child before.
Yeah.
What was it like? You know, how did that impact on your decision to marry him? How did you feel going into a relationship where you already knew that this young man has a child?
I think for me, going into the marriage knowing he had a child already, I had to have a kind of a conversation with myself and talk about the firsts that I would have had if he didn't have a child. Am I willing to actually give up that first moment for this person? So I think at that time, because I knew I loved Paul and I saw how he loved his daughter, it was a no-brainer for me. So when I saw Kayla, when I met her, that's her name, Kayla, it was like instant love. So I don't feel like I missed that on something. If anything, I felt like I got a gift from having her. So I know that some people might have struggled with that situation, because you still have to come to the terms of the fact that they've had that whole, you know, pregnancy transition journey already with a partner. But I think for me, I just saw it as it was a blessing, it was a gift, and I got to be a mum before I actually gave birth to my baby. So yeah, I just absolutely saw it as a blessing, and I think I had to have that mindset. I love Paul. Kayla was now my child. I mean, I know, you know, yeah, she's got her mum, but now she's got 2 mums, which is a bonus for her.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's had its ups and downs, absolutely. But I think you have to be in the right frame of mind. You have to be secure in yourself also to know that you're still gonna have your moment.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, an additional gift. So that's the way I looked at it.
Lovely.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you're a mom. Has motherhood changed you?
Oh God.
And if your answer is in the affirmative, how has motherhood changed you?
Should I go first?
Yeah.
You know what? I think motherhood, you don't have no choice but to be selfless. You don't have no choice. But then at the same time, you have to get to a point where taking care of yourself is also important. Because if you give everything over to your kids and everything else, then you have nothing for yourself. How can you take care of them? So I feel like it absolutely changes you as a person, but you can only grow from it.
Yeah.
And with a good network of friends and mums, and talking to your granny and talking to your mother, those kind of things will help you along the way. but having real honest conversations about it. Because I said to my mum, there's some things that you just didn't tell me about motherhood. I know you wanted your grandchildren, but listen, like I needed the real deal, because there's a lot of stuff that I went through during after pregnancy, during pregnancy, when the baby was born, the sleepless nights. There's things that I would have just liked her to just be a little bit more honest about, not just because she wanted her grandchildren. So, do you know what I mean? But obviously now it's conversations that I'm having, and I can talk to people who are having babies and kind of give them my take on it, honest take on it, without scaring them out of it. So yeah.
Anyone else? How has motherhood changed you?
I think, as Joanna said, it's the realizing just how selfless you can be, you know. I think being the last born, the only girl, motherhood has been that wake up, if that makes sense. You're really spoiled and you were really selfish, even though you really thought you weren't, you know. And I think the shock of someone being completely dependent on you, I think for me, that the drive that's in me now, I've never been this driven before, ever. Like, I cannot remember a time in my life that I thought, I really need to do this and go all in with everything that I do. That is faith, that is career, that is marriage, that is as a woman, you know, working on myself, like development. I've never wanted to go as hard as I do now. And it's literally just from looking at Judah and saying, my God, I cannot fail you. So I think that's how it's changed me, just being more driven.
I would say exactly as what Joanna and Leonie has said. You guys have literally hit the nail on the head. And I think also as well, it's shown me how amazing we are, the women that God made us to be. Wow. I mean, from carrying a child, you know, seeing what your body can do after that as well, you know, seeing how your body heals and the things that you do, you are, the patience that you build, the, you know, the ability to multitask and to do all these things. You're not just a mother, you're a wife, you're, you know, you're a working career person maybe as well. And, you know, you're cleaning, you're cooking, you're looking after a child, and you're doing so many things that when you actually take a step back and you think, wow, it's, you know, we're not superhuman beings, but I think God intended us to be that way. You know, we do so much. And I think being a mum has really matured me as well. Even in the short time that I have been a mum, I feel like, you know, God has opened up my eyes to so many things. And as I said, the patience and the resilience that having a child gives to you is amazing. And I don't think there's any experience in the world that
nothing like it.
Being a mum.
Great stuff.
And now I will say, yes, I think for me, motherhood has illuminated some next level of patience within me, but it's also zipped down my tolerance, not zipped down, but it's heightened my tolerance. So tolerance towards nonsense and certain people around me, and I don't know, just certain activities or just going out or just certain things I have almost zero tolerance for. Or it's like, no, I don't want to anymore. I'm not going to get involved. Like, I can't entertain your babyness anymore because I've got an actual baby over here that I need to look after. So you either need to grow up, kind of a thing, or leave me out. So I think I've built up as almost zero tolerance to nonsense around me, as well as patience with my little one, because they have questions and they repeat all the time, and there's a lot of whys, and there's a lot of running them down and a lot of telling them to do the same thing over and over and over.
That's the reality.
Matured you in a mentally, psychologically. It's matured you. So you've moved.
You have no choice.
To
mature, but to mature.
Definitely, yeah. So you're more mature. In you think, in the way you do things, in the way you plan and
absolutely
life. Now, I've heard young girls in particular say, you know, I can't wait to have a child, or I can't wait to reach this and that age to have a child.
Oh Lord.
And you know, I just sigh sometimes and say, you know, what? You don't even know what you're talking about right now, you know. But what kind of things, or you know, you think young people should consider prior to having children?
I think their time, because you can't just get up and go. You can't just get out the bed and decide, okay, there's planning. Like for me currently, just being able to go out the night before, I'm packing the baby's bag, I'm packing his food, I'm doing all sorts of things.
This is my house.
Yeah, so thinking about the time, are you really in that mental space to give up time, you know, and with time comes also sleepless nights when babies are small, you know.
Basically, are you ready to put yourself on the back burner and put another person in front of you for the rest of your life?
Exactly. So there's so much money as well, you know.
Yeah.
Children are expensive.
Very much so.
I said that already, you know, I can't remember the last time I bought myself something new, but you're constantly, the selflessness comes is that you're constantly buying for this child, which is growing all day. I think there's a lot, and I'm sure some of you guys will probably mention a few others as well.
Yeah.
Personally, I think I've had to consider when I made the choice, when I realized I was pregnant, because it wasn't a decision to get pregnant. Well, not a conscious one anyway. I had to weigh up actually, can I do this on my own if I'm gonna be on my own? I mean, it would be amazing for it to be the two of us, single parent out here, guys. It would be amazing if it was the two of us doing it together. But what if? Would I be able to do this on my own? Would I be able to see this through? Am I going to be able to cope? You know, she's going to rely on me for all of these things. Am I ready mentally to do all this on my own? I had to write down all the different things I think she's going to need. I had to write down all the different things I thought she was going to need me for, from before she started crawling to later on, whether it's money, whether it's food, whether it's the hard conversations that I'm recently having, whether it's the hard conversations, how to advise, would I be able to tell her the right thing? Do I feel like I have enough experiences? It's so much that you've got to really weigh up. I mean, some of them you won't have the answer to until it presents itself in front of you.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something you don't just go on a whim and say, oh, I want to have a baby, let's go have a baby. You know, there's a lot to think about, because once that baby comes out, there's no putting it back.
This is it.
You know, you've really got to deal with it.
You know, this is it. You've got to slow down and consider, take it all into account, because like you said, when the baby's there and you're in a situation where it's like, no, I can't put myself first in right now. I'm not the priority. This child is. The safety of this child. Like when they're newborns, you keep that baby alive. And it's only the other day I was really thinking about it. Like that baby can't feed itself, clothe itself, nothing. It's completely dependent on you. You better be ready for that responsibility. So I would just slow down. If you're not in a hurry, take your time and slow down.
I think mentally as well, which was the biggest struggle for me, because I had so much physical help. I probably had too much help available. That I just didn't accept or ask for at the time, which everyone needs to. But I think the mental thing of, can I consciously actually choose someone else over myself? Can I do that? Would I choose to, without having a child, wake up and choose a friend, or choose my husband, or choose to look after an elderly person in my family forever, if that means putting my career on hold, not traveling as often as I do, not being able to go out every Friday night for dinner, or on a Saturday afternoon for afternoon tea and a spa, or on a Wednesday to Bible study? For me, everything was cut. Everything was cut, because the decision to move away was in relation to raising our child in a different environment. I stopped everything. There was no praise and worship, there was no Bible study, there was no prayer meeting, there was no on the phone to your friends laughing, you know, there was no responding to messages really quickly and banter. Absolutely everything as you know it, it goes out the window. So if you want to give up your life as it is to care for someone else, because that is what it is, and you believe within yourself that you're ready to do that, then 100%. But until you believe that you can do that, it's not the time.
I completely agree with that. You have to think about your maturity, whether you're able to give everything that a child requires, you know, from physical, financially, psychologically, emotionally. And if the answer is no, then you shouldn't, because it's way beyond all the ideals that are shown to us, where we think our parents had it easy because they never showed us that the struggles, the sleepless night, the tiredness, they hid that all from us. So if you're not in that place where you feel like you're mature enough to give off yourself regardless, and like you guys said already, put yourself on the back burner, then it's not for you, and you probably should leave it until you feel you're very mature to handle all the things that come with it.
And the thing is, I think there is naturally, sorry Chanel, I know you're going to say something, I think there is naturally a perfect place where you think, yeah, you know, I'm just ready for this. Because you actually don't know what's going to happen until you, right? But being in a mental space to be able to say, you know what, even if my life as it is now changes, I've traveled enough, I've done all the things that I love, I'm ready to settle down now, really, and just do home and do wife and do mum, you know, and all the different hats. But it's having that thing in you to say, do you know what, I feel very accomplished right now, and I think a child would complete this, you know?
That's what I wanted to add, is that someone may be watching this and think, geez, like they're making motherhood sound like such a
not at all.
I was just gonna say the same.
Yeah, definitely not. And although we're highlighting these things, I think it's more a case of we're highlighting them to say, look, you need to, there are great things about motherhood, and it is a joy, none compared to any other, but it's just a case, as you said, making sure that you're mentally prepared, you're spiritually prepared for it, and you're at that level of maturity to handle those things. But when it does come, it is a wonderful experience. And although we're talking about, you know, ready to care for somebody over yourself, that is a wonderful feeling. It's lovely,
absolutely
dependent on you, and that they're looking up to you as this role model, and all they see is you and everything else. But as we've all said, it's ensuring that you are totally ready and mature enough, because it's not a journey to be taken lightly. It's not just about yourself. As we've all said, it's about looking after and caring for somebody else who then looks at us, and we sometimes form their path and their, you know, their life journey as well, from what they've seen and experienced from us.
One of the things, Leonie touched on it a little bit by saying that she had a lot of support. One of the things also to consider is the amount of support you actually have to help you. You know, even if it's one strong source of support, it's very, very important, you know, to guide, to teach, to help you, so you can go out, pop out and do, you know, a little bits and pieces, shopping, etc., come back. But support is very, very important as well. What has your support systems been like? Farah, Leonie, you said you had loads of support.
Too much.
Get that. Let me ask Farah, what has your support system been like?
Got my mum watching this, EVE.
It's about being real. She won't have any issues. It's about being real and share.
Hardcore honesty. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't feel it was great. But it could possibly be a mixture of pride, as well as maybe it really is so that it wasn't as strong as I would have liked it to be. I mean, things are a whole lot different now, but when you have just had your baby, your emotions are heightened, I feel. And you're super duper protective of that child. And you want to make sure no harm is around you, whether it's a spiritual harm, emotional harm, or physical harm. You want to make sure that you're protecting that child. And so if you feel like somebody's coming on with a negative energy around you, it's almost like you want to avoid that.
Yeah.
And I think I did a lot of avoiding. And but saying that, I wasn't on my own. I did have people around me, and as time went on, I learned to lean on them just a little bit more. Because when I say pride, I mean I'm a single mom. It wasn't the ideal situation. It wasn't planned. It wasn't planned. So I wasn't at the place where I wanted to be, but she came, and I needed to think fast and deal with it and get ready ASAP. So I learned to drop my pride, and most of it, learn to lean on the support around me, and realize actually these people around me are here to help. And they are the closest things I've got around me. So I've got to start learning how to trust. And I think if you don't have someone you could lean on just for a little bit, just to put your hand down or just to take a breather. I mean, hats off to the moms who do it until their children are 30, but I don't think I could have coped this long if I didn't have someone to lean on. Just a little.
I'm gonna throw a little spanner in the works now. Does being married makes it easier?
No, I don't think.
Why not? There are now 4 hands. They have 4 hands instead of 2, so it should be easier.
That's what people say, but I don't think. And not on a negative side onto husbands and new dads and dads, but it's a case of so mum is the main giver, the main person that he's looking to for food and for all of those things, and usually find that dads are busy working. Whilst the mother is on maternity leave and things like that, dads are busy working, busy doing their own kind of things. And I think the connection that a new baby and children have with mothers is different up until a certain age. And they always talk about these psychological things where there's different phases and different times in a child's life when their bond and their relationship is different with their mum and dad. So I think it is easier in some ways, because when you have sleepless nights and you have a husband who can get up and maybe if you're breastfeeding, you've pumped milk, or you're giving baby formula, they can do the feeding at that time. Those times are easier, but I don't necessarily think that having a husband makes the journey so easy. I think you still have challenges and
I can imagine there being challenges when that child gets older and is talking a whole lot more. And say a child my age, 6 years old, and they've got a whole lot more questions to ask, and they want to get away with a lot of things. And say in the instance where a child, you need to discipline the child. Mum or dad, or mums or dads and dads, whichever, parent number 1, parent number 2 will have different ideas of how to discipline. And in that moment, when somebody has to make an executive decision as to what to do, there's no time to go behind and plan and say, okay, this is what happened. We need to take this route. In that moment, your child has just done something in front of you. I mean, and then parent number 2 that deals with it in a way that parent number 1 will raise their eyebrows at. I mean, and then what if that parent jumps in and then says, actually, parent number 2, no, that's not, that I feel it will come with its own challenges.
It does.
I
having a second parent there.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm finished. Go ahead, Chanel.
No, what I was going to say is that's where I think having conversations in the beginning, where I was talking about backgrounds and things like that, that's where those things are really important. Those conversations are really important. If you get to this type of situation, how do I deal with it? You've kind of already touched on those kind of things. Although there probably will be some situations that you probably not even thought about or not spoke to each other about, but at least you're kind of on a common ground. You kind of know what
Yeah.
action we would take and what kind of things we would say to a child.
Yeah.
And kids are very clever as well. They if you don't have a united front, they will play you off of each other. So even in that moment, if you disagree with that parent, you don't show that to the child because they're too clever. That mind is clever. If he sees that little open door, he's taking it 100%.
Yeah.
So you have to.
It's important that parents are on the same page.
Yeah.
And
100%.
Be careful how you display that before the child and like putting into their hands. Yes, I think Chanel mentioned it earlier. Parenting styles can be very, very different.
Yeah.
Why? Because of the different backgrounds and because of the gender. Males tend to parent totally different from mothers. You know, mothers are nurturing, the baby falls, the mother is there, oh, don't mind, you know, and petting and hushing. And whereas if a little boy falls, dad is going to say, get up, puff up.
Yeah.
Falls like that. Get up off the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
That is probably
funny. Yeah, go ahead, Alicia. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just thinking that doesn't really occur with, sometimes we have different roles. It might be the mom the other way and the dad the other way.
That is so true. And sometimes what they said is that does play into the psychological or the personality of the child in older life. You know, how things like pain, for example. Men tend to tough up when it comes to pain. Women, we cry. You know, so reactions are totally different from a psychological perspective. Now, on Tuesday this week, I managed to see a program on BBC One TV where let me give her title, Princess Kate Middleton. She accommodated three young families in Sandringham, and she interacted and interviewed them. And what it is, there's an initiative by the BBC called Tiny Happy People. And what they do, they help young parents to learn to communicate with their small children. And I'm just going to read something that I took from their website. It says, statistics have shown that in England, 1 in 4 children starting primary school are behind in their level of literacy development. Yeah? So before they actually start primary school, they are already deficient in language, communication, and literacy skills, which leads me to my question to you. How do you communicate with your child? How do you speak to your children? What kind of language? How do you speak to that child from within this context?
I think for us, we've always taken the approach of speaking to them just like how we speak to each other, or speaking to him. We've only got one. Speaking to him how we speak to each other. So now we get a lot of comments of people saying, how old is he? And I'm like, he's 3. And they're like, but he's very tall, which is weird for us because we're both short, and and he's really well spoken. So people tend to think he's more maybe about 6 years old, but it's because we've always just spoken to him how we speak to each other. That's just always been our approach. So the simple thing of, if he falls over, get up, darling, but you can get up yourself, we don't have to pick you up. So we really encourage him to be really independent and sort of like have his own mind, whilst nurturing him in the right direction. But he tends to come across really advanced because of it. Some people will say, why do you do that? But we think it's the best approach for him.
Yeah. Anybody else? One more comment on that? Anybody?
For me personally, what I do, and I've always done, is I've always said I'm going to communicate with my son and also teach him to make choices from very young. So if I had to go away and do something, I would explain that to him in as simpler language as I can. So he's getting the idea that I am communicating with him. And even now, his level of understanding, even since he was very young, is very amazing, because I'll say or give him commands and he'll do them, and people will be like, and he also started speaking from a very young age. And people be like, how old is he? And that's because also in between all of that, what you need as well with that love needs to be communicated however you do. Is we love you, we support you, we are here, but everything we're doing is because we love you. And I think that's when they'll feel safe and secure in themselves, and everything else will become easier. So the learning is not so much how much you teach them to read and the books they read. It's the love you give them that makes them feel secure enough to pick things up quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say the same.
I love that.
Yeah, I would say the same. And what I was going to say is, although I'm a new mum and my son is 7 months, I'm learning and seeing from others that, as Leonie said, when you talk to your child, just as you have conversations at home, I've seen it in all of my godchildren that all their parents speak to them exactly the same. And I'm always amazed at how well they speak, and how, from such a young age, they're able to follow commands and do things, and, do some of the things that adults are doing in terms of going and themselves dressed and all those things. And that comes from communicating to them just as you would with, your friend or with your husband, or when they see those things at home. I think it makes such a difference. And when I did watch a bit of that program, and I have actually even subscribed to the Tiny Happy People Instagram page, because I thought that was really helpful in terms of some of the resources that they're providing parents with, because you're not actually taught by the health visitors, and you go to the GP in these cases how you're supposed to communicate with your child. And like Alicia said, for me, it's about giving my son eye contact when I'm speaking to him, and making him feel loved, and that he feels secure. But then it's also a case of communicating with them in the right way, because each child is different. And I think it's important that we as mothers are provided with resources as to how to do that. It does work when you talk to them, as you do with your spouse, your partner. But I think it would be good to have more resources on how to do that.
Yeah.
Now we have quite a few minutes left. I'm just going to jump on to, I'm going to ask you the same question, but in a slightly different context. Over the past few months, during the unrest with Black Lives Matter, and from previous interactions before now, I have heard, especially men, talking about the Black experience. Many of them admitted that they're still recovering from how their parents spoke to them in childhood. Negative comments that were spoken into and over their lives. And they're still having negative emotions and psychological impact on them today. And they've openly admitted that on social media, one-to-one conversations. Now, I'm going to ask you the same question. How do you think parents should speak within this context? How do you think parents should speak to their children? I'm asking this question specifically because a lot of people are talking about Black Lives Matter and all kind of things, singleness, all kind of issues. And a lot of it seems to go right back to childhood. How the children, how was I spoken to by my parents? What did they say? Did they shout? How did they react when I do something wrong? So how do you think parents should speak to their children within this context?
I think affirmation is such an amazing thing. And even before, this Black Lives Matter protesting flared up as much as it has, I've seen so many videos on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, of parents teaching their children, that they're beautiful, that they are able to do all things. And I think things like that is really important. And I think it's important to do from a young age, because even with my son, he's only 7 months, but he'll fall down and, or he'll be lazy to crawl. And I'll say to him, you can do anything you put your mind to. And I think it's those kind of things that it's a constant thing of reminding your child, because that forms their identity, it forms their character. And I think speaking positively to them and speaking to them in love, even when they're doing things that they're not supposed to do, telling them in love, but also obviously reprimanding them as well. But I think speaking in love and affirming to them positive things builds so much of their character. I think if anything, it builds who you are, because as some of these people have said, it's shaped their lives from just the negative things that they've heard, that they've seen. So it's so important that we are mindful to what we say around and to our children. Even, having arguments as parents in front of your children, that also has such a massive effect on them as well.
just being conscious. Like, you have to be conscious
Yeah.
about the things that you say to your children, because, you know, if you think back to your childhood when somebody, whether it be a family member, a parent, said something hurtful to you, how it cut, maybe not visually but inside. So I'm really careful, and I try my best, and sometimes I don't always get it right, but I'm trying my best to see the situation and say, okay, Joanna, this is a different way of doing it. Don't go down that road, because you know how it's going to affect him emotionally, because my son he's quite an emotional child, so I know that there's a certain way I've got to meet him where he's at. You have to be conscious of it, because it absolutely does have a long-term effect on them.
I definitely agree. I think also in our actions as well. Because I found that we can say stuff to Judah, but it's in our actions and what he sees me and his dad do, you know. So for instance, if we're talking really loud, he's like, no, stop, because he thinks, wait, are you guys just really passionate about what you're saying? And like, just I'm genuinely loud anyway. But you know, he picks up, like he really reads situations, body language, you know. He knows if I'm present and actually present. Like, we're sitting down watching a film, mummy, put your phone down. He knows to say that to me. So I think in what we say, but also so much in what we do, they pick up, and they're actually able to tell the difference when you're saying what you're saying. Are you saying it and doing it, or is it just saying for the sake of saying?
I think what's interesting for me, and I agree with everything everyone is saying, but also what I find with each generation, I think things are changing and we are realizing more of what is important. And I think, say, back then, or grandparents' generation and even before that, they didn't think about the psychological so much. They didn't think about what impact am I having on this child. They think, oh, they probably don't even understand what I'm saying. Oh, I can say whatever I say, not realizing. But now with us generation, and I can clearly see with you women as well, and with myself, we're having more of that understanding of how important it is to talk to our child in a respectful way, so they feel that from day one, so that when they go on out there, they demand respect, and they will not have anything else but that. Because I think if you set them up as you think, if we go back to attachment theory as well, what we have with our mothers, and this is why our role is so important. We've got the most important role in the world. We're setting up our children for, you know, what they're going to do later on with their life. Are they going to be productive members of society who, you know, do a lot with themselves and feel good in themselves? And we are setting the tone for that. And we are realizing that, therefore, it seems like what we are doing now in this generation is giving our kids what they need.
And don't be afraid to tell your child, like, I love you. And don't be afraid to apologize as well if you do something that you know has hurt them. Because I know for generations before us, they would never say sorry to their child. You must be seen and not heard. But it is so important. Sometimes I have to swallow my pride and say, Zion, I'm really sorry that mummy shouted at you today. I should have talked in my calm voice and not shouted. You know, that to him is like, oh, mummy does acknowledge when she does something wrong too. It's a really big deal.
That's
really
not big deal.
That's so true, Joanna. It is. I don't know if anybody else observed. For sons, well, in certain situations, for son and dad to hug and say, I love you, is the most awkward thing you can ever observe sometimes. And, you know, the first thing that springs in my head when I see this is like, why is it so difficult? Just hug and I don't know if it's a feminine, I don't know what it is.
I think it goes up to a certain age though, isn't it?
It is so awkward. Father and son hug and look each other in the eye and say, I love you. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's very awkward.
It's rare that you see.
And it's rare. It's rare. And I think fathers, I hope I can get some fathers on this program.
That would be really good.
That would be great, actually. Paul, I see you high-fiving. I'd love to have you on this program. I'm using this to advertise. Please.
I don't know if you want to get inside of you.
You might not be able to shut them up.
Listen. Interview you the dads. But yeah,
it's really important.
Yeah.
Anyways, since your children, they have been birthed, they're growing up normally. Tell us about some of the challenges that you've had to deal with, and some measures you've had to take to help alleviate some of the stresses of those challenges.
Oh God.
Well,
I'm going to be really honest, because obviously with the whole lockdown situation, Paul's been at work a lot, and I have had a newborn baby that's on the move. And then, well, she's not newborn, but she's on the move now. And then a 6-year-old who is just full of energy. It has been him out of his structure. I have to be honest and say it's probably one of the most stressful times of my life. At one point, I had to say to my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, you need to come and take him before I end up in prison, because it was hard. But I think for me, it's taken a lot for me to acknowledge, like, when things are hard and when I need somebody to come and help me. Because my mum-in-law, bless her, she's got a way with Zion where when I'm just at my wit's end, she can come in and I'm like, how did you do that? Yeah. But I'm not taking it personally. I'm just like, I'm just thankful there's somebody there to help me. So I think just acknowledging the help, extending that hand out to somebody that you know's got a good way with your child, that can pull you out of a bad situation, is going to be the best thing for you to do, But it's taken a lot for me to do it, because when he was first born, I remember someone was saying earlier in the conversation, I was so overprotective over he's mine. I don't want nobody else coming to tell me nothing about my child. He is mine. But as he's gotten older, I've had to now say, you know what? They say it takes a village, and it is not a lie. It is so true. Accept it, acknowledge it, and put the hand out and take the help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. We only have a few minutes left. I'm just going to jump, kind of fast forward a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was said before, but I'll say it again. There's no handbook to perfect motherhood or parenting for that matter. There's no blueprint, no handbook. You learn on the job. You realize that your ideals, they're not realistic, and you have to realign, recalibrate, and learn on the job sometimes where motherhood is concerned. You are all church, I can't say churchgoers, church members, ladies. Now, or you've been to church, you know what the church environment is like. Your parents in the church. Is there a role that the church could play in to support young mothers? Is there, or do you think
100%, 1,000,000%?
Just elaborate on that a little bit for me. That's the last question we have.
I'm going to share my experience really quickly. So I went from a church that had over 350 people, even more weekly, that didn't have, I would say, the resources to be able, in place, to be able to support a breastfeeding mum, or like for you to feel 100% like you could trust the people that you were around. I think it's slightly different, Eve, because you would come to see me like directly at my house, right? But I just felt that the support of people either extending a hand or the actual resources being in place for you to feel comfortable. I didn't go to church for about 4 months, I think. And that is a really long time to not feel comfortable to go. And then by that time, we moved away and we moved to a completely new church. So I think something needs to be in place, not just Sunday school, but I think in churches something needs to be in place where there are specific people that actually support new mums, especially if you're a first-time mum or any time round. If the experience is always the same, you need the support. People that will be on hand to help, to welcome you back into church as well after you've had the baby. And other mums that are there that understand what the experience is, to offer that help, even if it is just on a Sunday. I think it's definitely a whole ministry in itself that needs to be in place.
Anybody else want to comment on that?
I would say that it's definitely something that's needed within the church. And you've said it so perfectly, like I think every mum, whether you're new to motherhood or not, would appreciate that. And I think just having a forum of like-minded Christian, whether young women or more mature women who are having children, a like-minded group, you know, where you can bring your children, your babies, they can fellowship together with
so true.
like-minded children, and you can learn from others as well. And there are some, you know, people within the church who are mature members, elders in the church, who are mothers biologically or mothers just from, you know, caring for other people who you can learn from. And Joanna, you said it takes a village to grow a child, and I think having that forum places you in a more comfortable place, that when your child is in church, you don't feel a way that someone has reprimanded your child, because you must be grown, you know, with Christian values. And you know, and I think having that forum sets the foundation, and the support that you can get from that, the encouragement through scripture, through experience, is incomparable to any other experience. There are mum and baby groups out, you know, in the secular world. So why can't we have it?
In church.
You can use the community facility as well.
For sure.
But I'm just thinking that, you know, some women, you experience hormonal changes. Not everybody come out all good. Some people have what we call
postnatal depression. I had it.
All of it.
Even
all
to be
of it.
like-minded,
I'm sure
all the church mothers who can guide and direct. Show you how to change that. I'm coming, Jojo.
No, I'm not there.
Show you all of these things, tell you how to birth the baby, little things like that, isn't it? And you learn, and it's that community spirit. And the other thing is, mothers now get 1 year maternity leave. And there's so much the mother can do, learn, you know, we do so many courses online that, you know, people can learn something, do a management course, do a course online. But apart from that, go into the group, however that group is facilitated, attend the group, learn to sew, learn a little, learn to bake a cake, learn to knit, learn to do something and occupy yourself. So you know, support from various angles. And people are very creative these days, you know, to come up with ideas as to what to do. Jojo?
But I had to shout out to my church, because what they did at the time where I had my daughter, there was a lot of new time mums and people who had young babies. So they actually did set up a Christian baby group that we were all going to on a Thursday. And I have to say that was something that really kept mums that were single mums that had, they're married, whatever, and it kind of gave them a support network. So it is really important that churches start to open their mind a little bit more to having that kind of support network there for new time mums that are going through postnatal depression, because I had it with Zion, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And at that time I didn't know anybody. I moved to a new area, I just got married, I've got a newborn baby, I was living with my in-laws. It was so much stuff going on. So I just feel like, you know, thank the Lord, this time around my pastor, he really did have a spirit to serve the young families, and it has made such a big difference to us. So definitely. And then also the mothers in church, older mothers, being really honest with us about, you know, what motherhood is really like, and you know, not just when you're gonna have the baby, okay, how am I going to take care of that baby when they come? What's birth going to be like? How do I recover after birth, because I had a traumatic birth? You know, is somebody going to talk me through that? You know, it's all those things that they need to keep in mind, just so that we're just a little bit more prepared. So that's my bit.
We applaud. We have 5 minutes, I think, and I don't want this to come on us, but we applaud that initiative, Joanna. That's but it's lovely to see this elsewhere as well.
Absolutely, it's really important.
We do need support. We do have single moms that do need the support as well. So 30 seconds. What advice do you have to give to young ladies who are, planning on becoming mothers, or those who are already on their way to becoming moms? 30 seconds advice.
30 seconds.
Yeah, Farah, go ahead.
I'm Farah.
It'll be okay. Whatever you're going through, it's temporary. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. You might not be able to see it, but there is. Ask for help when you need it. Trust me, when you need that help, ask for it. Take time for yourself. It is okay to take time for yourself. And it is okay to discipline your child in moments where you might feel like, okay, did I do something wrong? No. Being firm is okay as well.
Okay.
Just enjoy it.
I would say my word of advice is to trust your initiative, because there is no book that tells you how to be a parent. You kind of have to go with the flow, and be open and be happy to make mistakes and learn from them, because every parent has made a mistake before. And and everything that Farah has said as well, you know, go with that as well. Know that if you need help, ask for it as well, because we're not superhumans, and it doesn't mean weak. It just means that you need a bit of help, and that's okay.
Leonie?
I think 3 quick things from me would be: 1, find a way to get some kind of exercise in. I took way too long to start doing that, but it absolutely changed everything for me mentally. Whether it's going for a half an hour walk or even starting with a 10-minute walk, you're dressed and you're out of the house. It's practice for when you're actually going to get out. 10 minutes, half an hour, and that whatever you can do some kind of exercise. Secondly, accept help. Any help that you can get, as long as it's people that you trust and is constructive, take the help. And eat and drink water. Whatever you do, drink water. That's all.
Dr. Alicia Anderson?
Right, I would reiterate a lot of what everyone has said so far, but I think for me as well, because a support system is very important, because without my support system, I don't think I would have got through it, especially with some of the unexpected stuff like the stress, the tiredness, sleepless nights. So I think, yes, that is really important. But for me also, it's good to take advice, but also remember your child is an individual. Respond to their individual needs. Don't take whatever everyone's saying, think this must apply and try to force it and make it fit. Your child is an individual. See what they bring and respond to them accordingly.
Joanna?
I would say just accept that the journey, yes, is going to be hard, but it is absolutely the most rewarding thing that you will ever do in your entire life. It's going to make you a stronger person, and even in those dark moments, because you will have them, you're going to get through it. There is absolutely light at the end of it. So just keep going. Take the help. I'm telling you, take it.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
And I
Thank
hope
you.
that somebody somewhere who's listened in and who will listen to this will learn something, especially young moms or, you know, teenagers, those are pregnant, planning to become pregnant. I hope you learned and really got something from tonight's discussion.
100%.
Thank you so much, guys, for your input. Very, very valuable.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for inviting me.
And I want to say we've come to the end of tonight's show, our first show, and I do apologize again for the technical glitches. So hopefully next time around we'll get it right. We'll get it right.
No, it was perfect.
It was a pleasure. And I thank my panel for their valued input tonight. We hope that you've gained something. We really, really hope, because it's about informing, sharing, impacting, empowering people. So we do hope that you've received, and feel free to comment even afterwards. We can still pick up questions, comments, and talk to the panelists if necessary, and myself, and we can answer them. All right. Remember, you can watch us again on YouTube. The video will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, so you can watch it on YouTube. I apologize to the Insta fans. First time with Instagram. I know a lot of you're messaging me, can't, you know, log on, but really sorry. I apologize for that. But hopefully next time we'll get it right. All right. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.